has its origins amongst the Yoruba priests and priestesses of the Orishas, gods and goddesses from Nigeria, who were enslaved at the close of the 18th century and the first decades of the 19th century. ¿Cuánto tiempo tenemos?
No, ya empezamos.
Yeah. Then, both in slavery and later when free, the Yoruba in Cuba and their descendants maintained a number of African religious practices by developing complex parallelisms amongst the Yoruba ancestry, the other African traditions that have been brought to Cuba, the Latin version of the spiritualism so-called Espiritismo, that is never mentioned, and the Spanish folk Catholicism, that was the official religion of the island. One of the reasons, in Cuba, we still have our mind colonized, and we still identify African beings behind Catholicism. That's why in a house where we worship the eagle, we find Catholic effigies. Santeria is described as a logical process of syncretism between Catholicism and African religion from Nigeria. First of all, it was not logical. Second one, for some scholars, there is no syncretism, because syncretism is a philosophical doctrine where you have to conciliate two religions, and there is nothing to conciliate between African practices and of Catholicism. But Catholicism was used by the African to maintain these religions alive. It was possible in Spanish and Portuguese possession, but not in the United States of America, where you were deracinated. No roots from Africa. But in Cuba, it was possible due to the nature, to the syncretism with Catholicism. But indeed, there is no syncretism, because if you are going to be initiated in Santeria, you are not going to invoke the energy of a Catholic saint. You are going to invoke the energy of one African being. And that's why. But anyway, that's why last 4th of December, the same people who in the morning went to Catholic Church to honor Saint Barbara, the same people that in the afternoon, they go to the houses of Santeria to play drums, dancing, drinking rum, and smoking cigar, dedicated to Shango, God of fire, thunder, music, and dance. But then, in Santeria, like Yoruba tradition, we do believe in destiny and reincarnation. Destiny is because before you were born, you kneel in front of the Supreme Being and you choose your destiny, your lot on earth. But it's seen as potentiality, and then you have to struggle to fulfill your destiny against negative energy. But you choose your destiny. Destiny is a self-chosen pattern. And then a reincarnation, because they have cycle of destinies, destiny and cycle of life. If you haven't fulfilled your destiny, you are going to reincarnate until you fulfill your destiny. There are a lot of variations of that, but anyway. And we don't see death as an end. Death as a process, a change of a state. And then the human beings is the center of a nexus of forces. The human beings is the most important element in this religion. Then we have a rich system of ceremonies of divination and sacrifice, because of course we have to be in communication with the spiritual realm, because we have not a Bible, we have not a book to follow prescriptions, and then we have to communicate with the spiritual realm. And of course we have sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Not just animals that have been accused in this culture. We sacrifice time, we sacrifice money, we sacrifice behavior in order to be in communion with the natural forces. Indeed, we do believe in one supreme being who created mankind, earth, and then he's retired, and is the wielder of the energy from the universe. That energy is so-called Ashe. That's why we say Ashe Papi. You know, Ashe is the life force present in nature. Robert Farley Thompson, in his classical book Flash of the Spirits, describes Ashe as the power to make things happen. It's the key of futurity. Ashe means self-realization. That's why we say Ashe, Ashe Pati, that means good luck to you, so be it. But Olofin created mankind, earth, and then he is retired, and he left on earth the Orishas. That's the center of the worship in these regions. Orishas. Orishas are emanations from the Supreme Being. They are not intermediaries like Catholics. They are the Supreme Being seen in a natural angle. And Orisha, the definition that I used to be understood is Ori head, amongst other meanings. Sha, the divine essence of the inner self. In a practical sense, that means God that lives in your head, and you have your own energy. That energy is in communion with one natural force, that is your God, your Orisha, that you have to be in balance in order to fulfill your destiny that has been given by the God Almighty, or just solving a specific problem in a life, not where you die. Because this religion is a shelter for marginalized people to be legitimized, but at the same time, it's an alternative for Cuban people to solve problems. If you have in Cuba love problems, money problems, you have bad life, people send you to see santeros and santeras. And then what is being initiated into Santeria? That is a ceremony of 7 days that you have to remain secluded in a specific room in the house of Santeria, where Santeros and Santeras are going to enthrone, to place, to see the energy, the ashe of your personal Orisha in your Ori. After that, you become in Iyawo. Iyawo means bride or junior wife of the Orishas. And for a year and 7 days, you have to abide by different rules of behavior in order to be in balance with the Orisha. One of them, all dress up in white. White in white color. Have you seen people in the street all dress up in white? Well, you will see. And then white in white color, because white color is a symbol of life after death. It's a symbol of the spiritual world, the symbol of purification. And for a year, 7 days, you have to purify your body in order to be in balance with your Orisha. There are two more theories. One of them is that came out from the ceremony of the Albis Day from Catholicism, that during the baptism and so on, you have to dress up all in white, or from Islam, because this religion has been influenced before the African were brought to Cuba. They were influenced by Islam, and the holy person in Islam is dressed up all in white as well. And then, but not just all dressed up in white. That's easy. You are not allowed to shake hands. You are not able to be kissed or kiss anyone. You are not able to reach any object from the hand of another person. You are not able to leave your house after 6 p.m. nor before 6 a.m. You are not able to receive the energy of the sun at midday, the energy of the moon at midnight. You are not able to eat at the table. You have to eat at the floor, not on the floor. You are not able to see the reflection of your face in front of a mirror for 3 months. Women are not able to wear makeup. For Cuban women, that's a torture. And in traditional houses of Santeria, you were not able to have sexual relationship for 3 months. But we are very hot here in Cuba. Impossible to abide by that rule. That's why they had to be more flexible. And Santeria is a flexible religion, non-centralized religion, non-institutionalized religion, and what I like the most, non-proselytizing religion. We don't seek followers, we don't knock the door. People go to the houses of Santeria in order to solve their problems. And then, Santeria was a term given by the outsiders in a pejorative way to describe the worship of the Catholic saints by the Africans. The most accurate moniker for this religion is Regla de Osha y Fa. Regla de Oshaifa is the reformation, the renovation, even the reinvention of the Yoruba tradition, even though the Cubanization of this culture. That's why I say that we don't practice here Yoruba tradition. We practice here the reformation, the readaptation of this culture. And Regla de Oshaifa has two paths of initiation. Regla de Osha, the path of the Orishas. What happened with it? That from Africa were brought here to Cuba around 200 Orishas. But most of the secrets were lost with the Africans because the Africans were reluctant to transmit this knowledge. And nowadays we know the entire liturgy of around 10 to 20 Orishas that we have gathered of them in just one liturgical corpus, so-called Regla de Osha. And that's why in a house of Santeria, in a house temples, because we have no temples as such, we find all of the Orishas together.